Yo, welcome to Droppin Dimes.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
Herran. And joining me as usual, Jamelle Holloway. Jamelle, how you doing, man?
Oh, great, brother. How about yourself, man?
I'm doing well. I feel good today. It was kind of a long day today. Had a lot of tedious things to do.
Yeah.
Had to time manage a lot, but I feel like sometimes, like when everything goes smooth, when you have one of those a day like that, then it feels good. You feel good. You feel accomplished at the end of the day, and that's how I feel today.
Yeah, man. It's
So
good.
yeah. What about yourself?
I'm good, man. Other than this Texas heat that we've been dealing with like crazy,
Oh my
man.
gosh, yeah. It's supposed to get really bad this weekend. Sorry, I messed with my video here because I have the iPad does this new thing where it follows you, and so it kind of like changes the camera a little bit depending on how you're moving. I don't know. I
Right.
don't know what that is, but yeah, no, it's supposed to get like 105 here in Texas, in the Dallas area at least, on Sunday. That's insane.
Say goodbye to my $80 electric bill.
Dude, I'm worried about my AC. It's an old AC, so I don't know. Wow. I don't know how it's gonna hold up, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. So it's been a while. If you guys are listening there, the last time we recorded was I guess midway through the conference finals, and of course, being the Dallas Mavericks fans that we are, it was just a disappointment to lose at that stage. But like we talked about in that pod, we said, well, what's going to happen if the Mavericks don't make it? Can we get back to this point? I have faith that the Mavericks will. Now, obviously, in that same time, there was a Game 7 between Miami and Boston, which then obviously was over with Boston, with the Boston Celtics going to the finals against the Golden State Warriors. Game 1 came. One of the craziest games I've ever seen in my life, which we'll get to. We'll get to that fourth quarter run, and which has been a trend this finals already. Because Game 2 comes, no, I guess in Game 3, obviously, but Game 2 comes, and the Warriors do what the Warriors, did what they do, right? And they took that game, and then Game 3 was yesterday. Today, actually, we're recording this podcast 8:36 p.m. on Thursday, June 9th. So yesterday was Game 3, and the Boston Celtics took that game with 23 to 11 in the fourth quarter. I mean, come on, 11. That's probably the lowest scoring quarter I think from any team this postseason. Is insane,
right.
because I think it wasn't as bad, obviously, as Minnesota dropping that one game where they had 30-something.
Please bring Minnesota up again.
It was 12 or 13 points.
Oh,
and
my
then
God.
Second, and the same thing in the fourth. But This is, I think, the lowest amount of points in a quarter this whole postseason. Insane. I mean, This game was electric. I'll let you talk here in a second and give me what you think. But I think let's just do where are we at. We'll talk about kind of going back. We'll talk Mavericks, at the end, and just kind of get with a little bit of dessert, right?
Yeah.
But let's tackle finals right here and give the people what they want to hear as far as just what's going on right now. Overall thoughts, feelings about this finals, these two teams. Is it a good series? Are we watching a good series, or is it kind of a mess series? Whatever you think, and I'll follow up with you. So what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a good series. However, I think Boston is the superior team. I think this is a mismatch for Golden State when it comes to what their deficiencies are. Boston is great at. So Boston is long. They're athletic. They're long in every position. I mean, Marcus Smart is the point guard, technically the point guard. He's a big guard, and so on and so on. You keep going up through the lineup. Then you come off the bench with Grant Williams, who's a thick guy. I mean, he may be small for a power forward or whatever, but he's a thick guy. And, to me, it's a mismatch overall because you see the deficiencies in Golden State when they arise. They slow-footed. Draymond has truly lost a step. They are exposing play. They are exposing Curry. They're exposing Poole.
Yeah.
I mean, all these guys have deficiencies, and they're exposing Looney. I mean, everything about them, what I thought Golden State was, don't get me wrong, I respect them for what they did. I think they are on par with that 2015 team that won the finals. But like I've been saying this entire time, they are a beatable team. They are not a juggernaut. They are not anything that, to sleep on. Like at the end of the day, I mean, anything they're not the team that everybody's saying they are. Like it's like they used to be with KD. It's an entirely different team, but you got to respect them. But the thing with Boston, all you have to do is don't turn over the ball and be close at the end of the third quarter. Because despite what everybody wants to say, Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time, but I have so much lack of faith in his ability to close out games. I have such a low trust in his ability to, when the game is close, to, make clutch shots. To me, the other guys get the team rolling, get the ball rolling.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. The other guys get the momentum going. And then Steph will come in and just, put the icing on the cake at that point. To me, he makes it like a flood. You know what I'm saying? He make it like an avalanche at that point. So
for sure,
to me, it's a team effort at all times. So if you see the only run that Golden State made, this is my last point. Only run that Golden State made in Game 3 was in the third quarter, like they always do. But if you see Ime Udoka on the sideline going crazy because Robert Williams and, for the most part, Al Horford refused to play.
You almost said it like Mark Jackson. You almost said it. Al Horford going.
Yeah. Refused to play up on that screen. Like, why are you playing back?
Yeah.
It was just stupid. And I thought Ime Udoka was going to blow a gasket over there. It was just so bad. But I think it's a mismatch overall. I think, seriously, Celtics should win the next 2 games. It's just my opinion. And it hurts so bad because this is exactly what I thought the Mavs could do. But I hand it over to you.
I agree with you. I don't completely agree with you. I'll start with where I agree with you. Boston is a better overall team. They are incredible at so they're not like this incredible like offensive juggernaut like I think the Warriors have shown get to that point. They just can't do it consistently. They're because they're not the Golden State of old, right? But they can still get to that point. So they're not. So anyways, so Boston is not this offensive juggernaut that's amazing, but everyone knows their role, right? And they get everyone involved. And when you have 4 out of the 5, or sometimes all 5 of your starters in double digits, and they all play defense, I mean, like, it's just really hard. Those third quarter runs aren't going to win you the game, especially if you start off down. And then obviously when you have an 11-point quarter, it's nothing. Now, where I disagree with you is I think that this can still be a series if in having faith in the adjustments that Steve Kerr can make, and knowing when to pull his guys. I just feel like when the dribble handoffs aren't really happening and they're not really effective with Draymond, or Klay Thompson is just not hitting shots, you got to be able to pull him and go with something else. I mean, I don't necessarily know what the answer is. It seemed like in Game 2 with Gary Payton II coming back, like it was like, oh, here we go, kind of unlocked something and unlocked the keys to the taking control of the series, and he was just nothing really. I mean, like offensively, defensively he was okay, but it was just hard to. It's hard when the Celtics have it rolling, right? The other part where I disagree is I think that Steph's having an incredible series. He's averaging 35 a game. He's hitting big shots to get the momentum going. You
No,
know,
bro.
he is. What are you talking about?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying when the pressure's off, that's when he capitalized. You think about the last game when they got up to like, well, they like a 12-0 run or something like that. Then that's when Steph started hitting his stuff, man. I just think. Oh, go ahead.
Go. Sorry. No,
I actually
sorry.
interrupted you, so my bad. Go ahead.
Well, no, I'll interrupt you on saying that, like, if you look every time he kept them within about 9 to 11 constantly, right? He was the one keeping the Warriors alive, but Clay wasn't hitting shots really. Like, he did early on, but then later on couldn't. And Poole was not really hitting anything either. And I mean, the only other person that was at least giving something was Andrew Wiggins. Had some life, right? But
don't get me wrong.
I
Steph has been the best player on the Warriors. Don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't say he's played incredible. I think he had big spurts or some hot streaks in, especially game 1. He started out super hot. Game 2, the third quarter, and last night, the third quarter. I think when you talked about the rotations or taking guys out, I agree with you on that. But honestly, Steve Kerr needs to think about playing Steph a little more.
Yes, exactly. Game 1, they were idiots. They dropped, like, he goes for 21 in the first quarter, and then, like, you take him out for so long, and you think that and then you're shocked that he's like cold and doesn't score at all in the second. Right. Like, that's when you just play him the whole first half, like, honestly, and you just let it rain, or you go until, like, he's not hitting them anymore.
Yeah,
and then you give them the rest.
Right. You look at their dynasty run. I mean, Steph having big, large spells on the bench to be ready for that stretch of the fourth quarter has been what they've always done, but this is not the same team, brother. This is Clay is like outright struggling, and like offense is few and far between at times for these guys. And, especially if you're playing a team that's superior athletically, and that switches everything. Like Boston, when they switch everything, because you mentioned, great point, they got 5 great defenders on the floor at all times. Point blank. I mean, Grant Williams is amazing defender. White is an amazing defender. I think he actually is defending Curry better than anybody right now. So these guys are switching.
He's playing above his. He's playing above his. What's the phrase? He's punching above his weight. Is that what it is?
Yeah. You're right. So I didn't see this in San Antonio, but you hear that Boston talking about how great of a fit this was for him, but it comes to a point. And this is the main point about this whole dynasty for Golden State, that Draymond can keep getting asked questions, so to speak, about KD, but his KD name keep coming up. This is why they got KD, because you face a LeBron, you face a guy that just says, "Look, give me the ball. I'm finna go take over this game." Like, Steph can't do that. Golden State doesn't have anybody on the team that you could say that about, and that's not a slight to them. He just was born. I mean, he's 6'2", 6'3". There's nothing he can do. Tatum is that. If he can make his layups, he probably had 30 points last night. And Jaylen Brown was flying right past Draymond. So I just think at this point, it just looked like the athletic ability may be the thing that brings this home for Boston.
Yeah. 2 points, kind of random points that I want to make about this series, players in general too. It bothers me when people are talking about Klay Thompson, like, oh, like, he's just not the same, and like he's still kind of, recovering and didn't play for so long. Like, are we forgetting that, like, his game 6 against the Mavericks? Are we forgetting about, I guess, game 5 or whatever against
5 or 6 against Memphis?
Against Memphis? Like, Clay seems pretty normal to me. The only thing, Clay has always been the sprinkles on top.
Thank you.
Always.
He's averaged 19 points in the playoffs his whole career. But go ahead.
One of the most inconsistent stars that in the game, and right. That's fine. Like if you know that, like if you expect, like you know that that's how it's going to be, and then and you're just fortunate that like he can get game 6 Clay. That's awesome. Like that's why you have him.
Right.
And I think part of the problem for them is that where if Curry's great and can score, right? But he does need someone else to kind of bounce off of a little bit.
Right.
Because of the size limitations, like you said, right? Mm-hmm. I think he's capable of taking over a game, but but maybe not in the same way or the same consistency that someone like Luka or Jason Tatum can.
Right.
And Jordan Poole is just not stepping up to that role to be able to score for them. And then I think the other thing that's hurting them. So there's this expectation on Clay, right? And then there's also the thing on Draymond where Draymond's not scoring and Draymond's not the same guy. Like he's got to be more aggressive. Game 2, I think they won that game because yes, the threes fell, but Draymond was super aggressive. He was
from the tip.
He was like, he was like, this is who we are.
Right.
And that was it. Like, so that's why I think it can still be a series. Like if you see that change, that aggressiveness from Draymond and the threes fall, I think it can be a series if that happens. But sorry, I'm talking a long time.
No, we're good, man.
But the other thing that I want to say on the Celtics side is Al Horford, man. That dude can play, and he is the definition of like just a veteran player that sees an opportunity,
yes,
and is taking it, man. Like this is why I've grown to like Jimmy Butler, because Jimmy Butler is the same way. Jimmy Butler, he's like, he sees the competition, he's like, oh, let's go. That's why. Right. I mean, I was kind of I was disappointed in him in those first 3 games of the Eastern Conference Finals, but you know, Al Horford is doing that right now with this team, and I'm happy for him, man. He's a good guy and he's a good basketball player, man. So
yeah, man,
those are some key things.
Yeah. At this point, it is a matter of will. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think athletically, like I said, Boston is a superior team, but I'm saying it's still 2 amazing teams, 2 great teams at this point.
Yeah.
So at this point, it's just all about will. Who wants a little bit more, you know? And
yeah,
I mean, I don't know how many of those behind the scenes finals or championship videos you watch in NBA history, but I'm sure you watched one for 2011.
Oh yeah.
Hundreds of times.
But I have the DVD, bro.
Yeah, I used to have it. I don't know what happened to it, but yeah.
Dude, you need to come over sometime. We just watch it.
We can watch it and cry. No, I'm just playing. But but I remember so many times, you know, Rick Carlisle saying, especially against Oklahoma City series in the Western Conference Finals, like, we just got to want it more than they do, you know, like, because I think a large part of them knew, man, we may not ever get a shot like this again, you know. And you see that all over Al Horford. I mean, his first finals, all these years of being on quality teams, first finally making it. I mean, you could tell he just wanted more. You know, it'd be times I'll say, okay, what you doing on the screen? Or sometimes he let a smaller guy get a rebound over him. But, you know, I just love it. I love what he's bringing. Another guy I want to shout out is Robert Williams, Texas A&M Aggie. You know, I'm a Longhorn, but you know, I shout out Texas people whenever you can. But that dude balling, man. I mean, he just balling, hustling. I mean, on half a knee, you know.
Yeah.
And it just amazing to see how he jumps and he affecting almost every shot. And I don't know, man. It's hard to see. I mean, Looney was averaging 15, 16 rebounds against the Mavs, but he's almost effectively none. You know, he's
ineffective.
Non-existent.
He's ineffective.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It's been bad.
Right. So you just gotta give it to him, man. I hope, be honest, because you know, I ain't gonna lie, every game I'll be like, damn, we only like a couple more games for the season to end over. So I hope Golden State can push it a little bit further, but I don't
Who
see
who
it.
do you want? Who do you want to win, or do you even care who wins?
Come on now, bro. We've been doing too many podcasts.
I mean, I'm assuming you want the Celtics to win.
Of course, I do. And
okay, but
I'm just being real. I mean, I know we in this culture of we build a superstar up to tear him down. You couldn't find a bigger Steph Curry fan, not like wanting to win, but just like the guy overall, you know. But I just can't stand this push of him being one of the greatest. I mean, he's the greatest shooter of all time, but it's been a great team run, you know. This to me, I line this up right with with San Antonio Spurs. But to me, this team don't have a Tim Duncan. The Tim Duncan was it's Tim Duncan in I guess in role as far as being the key cog and the main player that's, you know, with all championship runs. But to me, Steph is great, is a great asset. He's the system, you know. He changed the game.
See you later. Come on.
But the iPad really does follow you. I just don't see it, bro. I just can't put him, like Trace McGrady said this week in the podcast, like, I mean, Steph is great, but he's in a different class, like than Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, you know. To me,
sure. Okay, but is he not in the same class as like Isaiah and like the other point guards, you know? I mean, definitely, I'm not even going to say Chris Paul, but if we look at the top 10, because that's been talk, right? The top 10. Where are the top 10? And you got MJ, you got Kareem, you got Magic, you got Tim Duncan.
LeBron.
Oh, gosh. LeBron, obviously.
Kobe, Shaq.
Olajuwon. A lot of people would put Olajuwon there. Larry Bird. KD,
right, like at 15 or so, you know, people starting to say.
Yeah, but I'm missing number 10. So I within the ones that we just said, like, is he not in the conversation with at least Olajuwon and Shaq? And I know this is weird because it's eras and position wise. Or even in the fringes with KD and because I would, you know, a lot of people are putting like KD like at 12 or 11, kind of. He's kind of on the outside. Like, I just think him being the greatest shooter of all time, him being one of the most unselfish players, and the way he moves off the way he moves off.
Okay,
off the ball,
he Reggie Miller. You know, he Reggie Miller, like he Ray Allen. I'm trying to see like where do we?
But has one. He's Reggie Allen. Ray Allen. He's Reggie Allen. Reggie Miller, Ray Allen. But like, but with rings and with MVPs and with.
I'm just being honest. I think 2015 and a large part of 2016, they caught a lot of breaks. I'm just being honest. I promise you, I was debating Golden State.
He's an MVP, bro. He's an MVP.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you good. Do you want to go down the list of MVPs? Like I said, Devin Booker should have won. If Steph was the MVP those years, Devin Booker should have won this year. That's just my opinion, because he was on the best player on the best team. I'm just saying, to me, before Steph Curry, what other all-time great shooter? Who do we say was the best shooter of all time prior to Steph Curry? Would it be Reggie Miller, Mark Price, Ray Allen? Most people will say Ray Allen.
Jason Capono.
Just Capono. Yes. I mean, yes. Kyle Korver. Would you ever put those people in the category? No. Steph took it to another level. He's the first player, great shooter ever, that can do it off the dribble just as well as he do it off the ball. Give him that. But brother, it's still just shooting. You know what I'm saying? To me, you can't tell me that you would trust the ball in Steph Curry's hand over all those other guys you just named in the crucial moments of a game.
I'm not even saying that. I'm saying that he should at least be in the conversation of. I don't know if he's in the top 10. I don't think he's in the top 10. Like, even if he were to win another championship, Like if he were to win this finals, I don't think he cracks the top 10. Like that's incredible. That's great. Like that's really hard to do. But I think it's worth having a conversation. I think he's at least 11, 12, 13, like between 11 and 15 we can I'm okay with having that conversation, and I'm okay with even putting him there somewhere there, you know? And
but this is gonna be our fight as Mavs fans. This is gonna be our fight when it comes to Luka. At the end of his career, people are gonna be having that conversation. So when you get to talk about the greatest of all time, there is a microscope on your career and what you were, you know. So the reason I bring up Luka is because he don't play defense, you know, and I can't see a way that his defense will get better because he's just slow-footed. Steph is the only guy on that list you named that did not play don't play a semblance of it, don't play a lick of defense, you know. Mm-hmm. So yes, we nitpicking when it comes to the top 10 of all time, you know.
But he's not terrible either. I mean, like he can move. I mean, he's not terrible. I don't know.
Every time you down the court, they try to find you. That's kind of terrible, bro. He get in the way, but come on now.
There's some spurts where he stays in front of his guy. I don't know. But okay, Luka. Now, since you brought it up, I'll say it. With Luka, I think he's going to get it together. I think he's going to play defense. I think it's going to happen, or at least because he's smart and he sees, he can do the self-reflection and see, like, where am I? Who am I like even? I don't like comparing him to James Harden. It makes me cringe because I don't like James Harden, but I get it. I get as far as usage. I get as far as just, you know, the way he demands the ball but, you know, if he agrees with that and he sees that, he's like, okay, am I going to go down the route where, like, I'm a really dominant player, you know, and I get the numbers and I'm flashy and I'm a good offensive player, I might get an MVP? Or do I want to have the full complete game and win? I think he wants to win so badly, and you see it, and he's won before, that he's going to see what it takes and he's going to do it, right? And I hope that we are talking about him in the top 10 of all time. Yeah. I think he's capable of that. So
I saw an amazing video today, Sal. I saw Luka working out today. It was like I don't know what it was. I can't tell. I don't know what the exercise was called, but it looked like he was like a lateral movement.
He did it last year. He did it last year, though, right? Yeah, he did it last year.
I thought he was
playing Olympics, and I remember seeing some things of him like working out. Maybe that was the year before, but
yeah,
you know, and then he came fat. So I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it. First game, he's like, we're winning. Like, we're winning this year. That's what I want him to come out. I don't want him to come out saying, oh, you know, like, that was kind of annoying to me. He was like, well, the goal is when he was saying the goal is to get to the second round. No, like, that's what I was like, the goal is to win. And it should be, I don't care. Like, if you're going to be as great as people say, as you got to believe it. And I'm sure he believes it, but if you're going to be great, then you need to act like the greats.
Yeah.
Like, even Kobe every year was like, I'm going to win. Every year Kobe was like, I'm going to win. Even with his shit teams, he was like, we're going to win.
Exactly.
And so, I think that, I mean, I want to see that from him next season, especially now that they've got the expectation of, like, you know, they got to the Western Conference Finals and they have something to prove that it wasn't a fluke and that they can get back.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're 100% right. Just put a wrap on the Mavs. On the talking aspect, I didn't like the way they went into the Western Conference Finals saying, "Oh, we here now, might as well win it," or, you know, just it seemed like they're a little bit too satisfied to me. But for this year, but at the end of the day, I do got faith in what they're going to do going forward, and so I'm happy about that. But just wrap on the Celtics series. Yes, I do want the Celtics to win, but it's more than anything. I want to put a bow on this because I really believe Golden State is, a dynasty. I do believe that, but I just really believe KD was the thing they needed more than anything, and I didn't have a problem with it. It looked like it was, kind of a whole move by KD to do. But at the end of the day, I think it was a great thing for basketball at that time. It was fun, with them in Cleveland. But I seriously, I love Steph, love what he brings with humility off the court. But his on court antics make you root against him. I'm sorry, bro. So I don't. It's not that I don't like the guy. It just it bothers me. And on court antics and the push that media gives to him.
I think you are on an island with maybe a few other people, because I find it so hard to root against him. I find it really difficult. Even some of the biggest Celtics fans that I know, like Bill Simmons, he goes on and on, but like it's so hard to root against this guy. But I'd be lying if I didn't say I understand part of your thoughts, like in your belief in that. But I just can't. I mean, I don't know. I love the guy, and I think he's capable of, or at least he's gonna. Hopefully, he proves that wrong, and he could take this. I'm a history buff, and I want to see the Warriors win because I just like that. I want them to be in those teams where the old team they had their run, then kind of a lull, and then came back. You see the Lakers of the '80s kind of do that. You saw the Celtics do that in their time. And I just want to see that happen. So game 4 is coming up, and is that tomorrow?
Yep, Friday.
Tomorrow, right? Yeah, Friday, and that'll be a good one. I'm excited for it. I'm excited.
Must win by Golden State.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Must win.
Yes. Oh, sorry. I thought you said. I don't know. I thought maybe you said this. I don't know what you said. Yes, it's a must win for Golden State. So I think they're going to do it. I think there's going to be a series, and it's going to go back and forth, and it's just going to be who's pushing Game 6. Right? I mean, Game 7. Who's pushing Game 7? So I'm hopeful for the Warriors because I want to see them win, and I also just want to see a good series. Yeah. I think we, as fans, we deserve that, I guess. I don't know. It feels weird saying that, but it's been a good postseason, a good season overall, and I just want to see Game 7 in the finals. Like, who does it? That's great. Yeah. Right.
Jay LeBron MVP so far. Shout out to him.
Yeah, he's been awesome. He's been really, really awesome. And I'm excited for the next one. I'm excited for us to get back and talk after this is over and just kind of reminisce over all that. Who's winning real quick? Who's going to win? I guess you think Jason Tatum's going to win the finals MVP?
No, I think it's a good chance, but I think Jay LeBron actually going to win it. But it actually it's a good chance because Jason Tatum technically haven't had a good game yet. But I think Celtics, and I'm going to say 6. But
okay.
And Jaylen Brown.
I'm going Warriors in 7. Here we go. Guys, if you're listening, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for listening to Droppin' Dimes. Keep listening. We're going to have news, too, about just like, as far as after this, if we're going to move forward with it and see you guys over the offseason and all that. We'll talk all that and announce all that for you guys. Thank you so much for listening. And catch us on the next one here on Droppin' Dimes. See you guys.